What it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm back at it again. It's time to talk some pro wrestling. Welcome back to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's good? How everybody doing out there? Thank everyone for tuning in, man. If you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, if you're tuning back in here to the YouTube channel, thank you guys so much, man. For real. Before we get into the show, definitely hit that subscribe button down below, like, leave a comment, and share it. Do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. So, you guys, like I said, man, it's time to talk some pro wrestling. Back at it this week, man. I'm not alone. I got an awesome guest joining me this week, man. Yo, he's my guy from Commission Talks, man. Yo, he's the host of Buzzing with Buzzing with Marlowe. My guy, Warren Marlowe. Let me get it right. He's joining me here. One half of the Commission Talks, my guy, Warren Marlowe. I'm all tongue-tied and stuff, man. What's going on with you, my guy?
It's so crazy how close we are, and everybody still gets the name wrong for the podcast.
I'm like, man, my man, Warren Marlowe, host of Buzzing with Warren. I'm like,
Buzzing with Warren. There we go. We're trading it now.
What's going on with you, man?
Not much, bro. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm glad to be back on. I can't even name how many times we've been on, but I mean, obviously, like you said, with the commission, we're back for part 2, basically.
Yeah, man. Commission Talks, man. We've been killing it each and every Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, live, my man Warren Marlowe is gonna be hosting. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, so we've been killing it, man. Killing it each and every Wednesday. We're here this week on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. We got a few topics we're gonna dive into and get into. We also seen AEW Revolution, talked about that on Commission Talks, and one big thing that really stood out for me throughout the whole AEW Revolution pay-per-view and event, and I think we both said it, and was like in agreement with it with MJF, and man, was like, can he really go for a whole hour? Can he really go the distance? And I think he really, well, I don't want to say I think he did shock a lot of people Sunday night at AEW Revolution. Man, just doing what he did and all the spot fests is just making Daniel Bryan kind of like eat his words, and seeing DB on Dynamite this past week, and how MJF made him feel ashamed of himself. So how do you feel about the match overall? I know we talked about it on Commission Talks, but just MJF specifically and the future of his title reign.
I think he got a showcase that he needed. He's needed somebody to really make him look like a champion. And you couldn't go any more with Bryan Danielson. I love the character base that they did in this match. They went 60 minutes. They did everything in the kitchen sink, from MJF grabbing a cup and pouring it on a kid, which everybody's remembering that on that match more than anything. But the thing is that I love about Max, it is something that a lot of people can't do. You could be hated by fans, but they still care about you. And that's something that Max is doing very well on, and might actually make him a victim of being a babyface pretty soon in the near future. Do I see him ever being a babyface? Honestly, no. But the dude is killing it. That match really, I think, solidified him as a champion. The feud with Danielson, I mean, it's Bryan Danielson. Who knows what's going to happen with Bryan? Is he done, or is it something new transition? So only time will tell.
You're right about MJF and everything he did with his whole rivalry with Daniel Bryan in the matchup that he had this past Sunday at AEW Revolution. I just thought it was just amazing, because I haven't seen MJF in any matchup like that's like 30 minutes 40 minutes or anything. I seen him in MLW, and he was the hottest thing coming in AEW, especially on the mic and stuff. So the fact that he pulled what he pulled off at Revolution and shocked everybody, even with a hurt leg or whatnot. And I thought the press conference afterwards was kind of going to eating pickle and just going off. So uh, definitely, I think it's dope though. I think it's dope. Who you think will be a great uh, a contender or challenger for MJF?
Um, Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying it. Might be Hangman. Hangman finally earned something after he beat Moxley. Never thought I'd say that again because I remember we started commission. We basically ragged on Hangman for the whole time, but I think he's definitely earned his chops a little bit. I want to see some newer guys in there. Obviously, we got Ricky Starks. Do I see Ricky Starks being a heavyweight champ? No, but to be a great opponent for Max. I'm trying to remember some of the guys.
With Jungle Boy, can you see Jungle Boy challenging for the AEW World
Oh
Championship?
gosh. I don't. He's like Ricky Starks. I can see him being a good opponent, not winning.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, give some of these showcasing, like how we got, with WWE had the U.S. Open and stuff like that. Showcase it a little bit. Does it have to be for the title all the time? No. Let Max go on there and just perform and say, hey, if you want a title shot, beat me for it. And do like something to like tease it in because obviously they got until May for the next pay-per-view, so only time will tell. But the only fair opponent right now that's caliber right now based off of stats and whatever is probably going to be Hangman just because he beat the second top dog. So who knows? Maybe even I don't know. Maybe they'll do a part 2 of Brian and them, but usually after an Iron Man match, you really cannot just face the opponent again. So I mean, I would say Hangman probably right now.
Okay, yeah, Hangman Adam Page is definitely a contender. I agree with you. A 1 hour
I would say
Iron Man
Keith Lee,
match.
but not in the blonde version.
Oh wow, yeah, man. Oh man, we was chatting about that too, man. I don't know what's up with Keith Lee. But real fast though, but the Iron Man match, the 1 hour Iron Man match is kind of like a Hell in the Cell match. It's kind of like that big blow off match. So you can have a rematch, but Hell in the, I mean that 1 hour Iron Man match, I thought it was great because it was multiple falls within the match. So MJF won, but you mentioned Keith Lee, and I think they really dropped the ball on Keith Lee. It's a lot of guys they dropped the ball on because Ruby Soho was having a great promo, and how she kind of like went in on AEW and how I was just talking about that too. Well, I think it was Brian B. And it was like I think it was on the commission talks, but I don't remember. But when Saraya came back and she made her big return, and how the fans just like they didn't really give that big reception to her, and it was just like and it kind of like they just, oh well, okay, she's here now, okay, former WWE chick and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of people are just not being seen right now. So like Miro, Keith Lee, now he's got gray hair, so I don't know if he's doing something with Dustin, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
It's oh gosh, like I said, we can go on the rant like we did on the commission about that. But one guy I think would actually be a good opponent for MJF if they did it right. If they actually could get somebody, bring somebody back, bring somebody that we've all been pushing for. And I'm not fully wondering why they did this, but where's Miro? Put Miro in this process. It'd be a good topic to put him in there, get him started up again. And it could build his refreshing because he's been gone for so long. It could make sense why Miro gets a shot at the title.
Mhm.
That would be my honest opinion. As big as a Keith Lee fan I am all about, characteristics and stuff like that. But come on, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Keith Lee was prone to be the guy. I remember the moment where he was the sole survivor when he
When I
was
first saw this man, I thought we literally would see a thicker version and in a John Cena caliber.
okay. Yeah. With Keith Lee, I remember, like I was saying, he was the last member of his team. I think it was Team NXT. It was the whole triple threat Survivor Series,
Yeah,
Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and it was Roman and Keith Lee. And it was like, okay, man, this is that moment. Keith Lee about to take off, and just things just didn't, go so well. And now he's in
and yeah, he
AEW.
pinned Roman. Yeah,
I would figure that they would have capitalized off the momentum that he had in WWE, but instead, we talked about, they put him in a tag team. I don't think he should have been in the tag team. Maybe it was just like, they just stuck two WWE guys who got fired during the pandemic together, and Swerve Scott and Keith Lee. But I think Keith Lee should be a dominant contender right now. I don't know if they want him. I don't know. Just for speculation. We talking about a Pacific guy. Powerhouse Hobbs won the TNT championship on Wednesday night on Dynamite. But just storyline. I'm just going with the flow with it. Warlow, his car got broken into. His rental car got broken into, and everything in it got stolen. I thought that was not always so interesting, but it was like, damn, man, my man win the championship. Not only that, I'm hopefully he, trying to celebrate, and everything of his gear and everything was in his car, and you know, uh, got stolen.
uh, I mean, I guess it happens to anybody.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to put it.
What did you think on Powerhouse Hobbs winning though, and how he won? Actually, I
I
don't
I
know
was
the story.
happy because he's earned it, but
Mhm.
why after Wardlow literally won it? But we even talked about it on commission. He could use that, be like, hey, I went to war Samoa Joe. That's the only reason why you beat me. Type scenario. That's where you can get his rematch. They could probably do a big series out of it. Maybe Wardlow wins it at the end, but it did make Hobbs look super strong, beating Wardlow instantly. So,
Mhm. Yeah, it did make him look strong. Him beating instantly. I was
made
kind
that
of
man
not,
the
not
Matt Cardona the TNT title.
I was not a big fan of who was the guy that assisted him winning, because I wasn't familiar with the story, and I can't even think of his name though. But the guy who assisted him winning the match, and they picked him up and power bombed him off the stage. Then it would have looked much better if they would have power bombed him on some tables, but they didn't power bomb on some tables. They power bombed them on a couple of pieces of mats though. QT Marshall. That's his name. QT Marshall. Yeah, I didn't understand the backstory of him and Powerhouse Hobbs all that clear, but he came out there, saved them, and assist them winning in the matchup though. But yeah, overall though, I'm excited for him. Yeah, it did make him look strong, but I'm guessing maybe I don't know, they dropped the title off of Warlow because maybe everything that's going on with him, because it just seemed like the TNT title has just been going back and forth, back and forth. It was Darby Joe, Warlow. Now is
It's a baton. That's what it is.
yeah,
It's the 24/7 championship in AEW.
yeah, like
They
that's
wanted to
interesting.
be the Intercontinental, and it became the 24/7.
Yeah. Speaking of titles and stuff, and I'll be on AEW real fast before we move on. The deal with the whole new AEW International Championship. The reason behind why they changed the title to the International Championship, and from the All Atlantic into the International. My theory was like, okay, well, this title been defended more internationally than it has been defended here on AEW Dynamite, for real, especially when Pac was champion.
Yeah, I think it was just a showcase. Um, like you just said, instead of the Mid Atlantic, now it's the International. I think Tony's trying to show opportunity outside of the U.S. for that championship, like that is their particular championship that they can have an opportunity to come out and face for, showcase for, or whatever. But I think they could have carried the Mid-Atlantic title a little bit longer just to grow it because it's still very new, in my opinion. But hey, I'm not the booker. I'm the booker of the year.
Yeah.
But hey, do you?
I was surprised he got Booker of the Year. I was like, man, this person must really love AEW though. You know, I ain't knocking them. You know, great company. You know, great things
No.
they doing.
You tell how it is. No.
No, I mean, I'm being honest with you.
You got me on the show, okay?
I'm being honest with you. AEW is definitely the alternative. If you don't like what's going on in WWE, now I said it multiple times. Growing up in wrestling, I came in the late '90s, so that was the Attitude Era. WCW was still a little bit hot, necessarily in '99. They really wasn't hot no more. They was hot from 97, 96 to 98. But, you know, I didn't watch WCW like that. So everybody always compared AEW to WCW. And the most alternate before AEW was Impact Wrestling. I watched Ring of Honor and MLW, NWA. But, of course, WWE was the main ones. But if WWE just wasn't doing it, obviously I was really big into like Impact back in 2011 with the whole Aces and Eights storyline. I thought that was something different, I guess. But but yeah, AEW is all right, man. But I think they just, I don't know, they more trying to establish themselves and have established themselves as just being, we are pro wrestling, we're not sports entertainment and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, man. Like, I think once they really understand and what's what, no, and understand and get that professional wrestling is sports entertainment, and you know, and they could come up with a lot more storylines. You know, they could come up with some great wrestling. You know, you can see Kenny Omega in the Elite and the Young Bucks. You know, do 12,000 super kicks, and you can see John Moxley bleed like crazy in the first 12 seconds, and you know, all that stuff like that. But I think with more in-depth stories, you know, how WWE does and has done lately, you know, well, I think they'd be better off. But they got some while to go. They got a while to go.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the builds up got to be a little bit more impactful, like how we talk about how we've been talking about this bloodline story. It's been moments impossible in bits and parts of a match that's made everything so memorable about that feud. Moments of Sami joining, moments of what's going on all around is what's made you care about anything that's involvement with that. So the one thing I want AEW to start focusing on, not just make stories just for your main event and maybe possibly your tag championship title. Do it for everything. If you're gonna do something on Dynamite, do something to do a story. Like, that is what wrestling is. I don't care what people are saying, what real pro wrestling stuff. You're going to tell somebody that's actually been in the ring, bumped in this stuff, and been doing this stuff, put his life on the line numerous times. People that sit here and watch wrestling. We watch Ring of Honor a little bit more. In my opinion, Ring of Honor way more pro wrestling than what AEW brings on the table. In my opinion, AEW is literally New Japan in the U.S. That's what I believe this is. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying, hey, whatever. It's just not my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. My biggest thing is what I wish AEW would focus on is more character-driven. I mean, yes, you got your Orange Cassidys, your Danhausens, and stuff like that. Even though they're not my cup of tea, they are characters. Now, do I believe that Darby Allin and stuff like this are main event players? No. But that's just my opinion. But here's the thing that I wish TK could understand. You need critiquing. As many businesses that you run, people are going to critique you from day one. That doesn't mean that should be a bad thing. Like, I was watching, a video on TikTok just recently, and it was talking about an old Kobe Bryant video, talking about his daughter's team made fourth place. They thought that tournament was over. They were going to go home, whatever. They're like, no. Y'all got to come to the ceremony and receive your fourth place trophy. They did not want to go get this trophy. They felt like it's a loser trophy. It's fourth place. Nobody cares about fourth place. Kobe sat there and told Gigi and her team, I want y'all to go get that trophy, and I want y'all to put it right by y'all's bed. Every single morning, y'all wake up to it, and you realize y'all are never going to win fourth place again. And that's something very impactful, because that motivates you to create newer opportunity. Be like, hey, I'm not getting fourth place again. I'm either getting third, second, or first. I'm not getting this stupid last place trophy again. This will not happen again. And that's something that I think TK needs to focus on. As a Jaguar fan, I'm proud of what they're doing with the organization right now. As a wrestling fan, I need them to make wrestling matter again. When I say make wrestling matter again, 5 to 6 super kicks does not make any difference than the first super kick if it's done so many times. They do moves like how moves to be done in a video game. It may not be my style, and that might be somebody's new thing. And like I said, there's so many different options in what type of wrestling you have. I've said it numerous times on this show, on Commission, and on my show. I reference wrestling like candy bars. Some people like Snickers. Some people like Reese's and stuff like that. It's just a different style every single time. And wrestling is 24/7 now, which is insane. Yeah. So I still say we're still in the greatest generation right now with wrestling, just because you get any type of content that you want. I say AEW is the Tiny Toons of what WWE is the Looney Tunes. Like it's a smaller version of a bigger product. And I mean, obviously the Looney Tunes ain't really here no more, but I thought that was a good reference. I can't really do anything with Disney. I mean, Disney's Disney, whatever, but it's like you got to figure out your type of cup of tea and go with it. But AEW, when they take the critique and they think it's bad. When I got critiqued, I know that they care about me. Because if you're not getting anything talked about, you're not getting any notice, you start wondering what's wrong. Like, what happened? So when you're getting the critiques, I think that should motivate them to be like, okay, what can we do this week than what we did last week? What can we look at to make a better storyline this week? Not just, main event, we're going to showcase this all the way through, whatever. Honestly, in reality, I've watched the last 2 Dynamites. There's been more promos on AEW Dynamite than there has been on Monday Night Raw for the last 2 weeks. That's a 3-hour show, correct?
Yeah.
And we're saying this is wrestling. They're going to fall very victims of their own product, because they are now realizing, yes, house shows, yes, all those positive benefits that we had when we first started this company, it's going to change. And people have got to get those ratings. We've got to get these things to draw what we're wanting to draw. So it's like, maybe we were wrong when we did this at the beginning. Maybe we came at it at the wrong way. Because now they're going to realize sports entertainment is wrestling. Because anybody in the indies will realize this. For people to sit here and have, what's that dang fool's name that uses his junk? Joey Ryan. Was it Joey Ryan? I can't remember what his name is. The one that uses his thing and he hip tosses them. You know what I'm talking about.
I think so. I'm trying to think.
I can't remember his name. He's not even wrestling anymore, but still, if you see stuff like that and you see that's entertainment, then guess what? That's wrestling. Wrestling is whatever you want it to be. But it's different things. WWE's different than what that is.
You're right. Hey, you are so right. I said it a couple of weeks ago, and it's like if you don't watch anything else than WWE now in the wrestling groups and stuff like that, and or to other podcasters, if you just only a WWE guy, it's like you're just weird or whatever like that. Because Raw, like how you just said, wrestling is 24/7 now. They come on every day of the week, and you got Raw, you got NXT, or where you got AEW. You got so much things that you might gotta digest, and Impact Wrestling, and all that. And it's just like whatever floats your boat. If it's AEW, that's cool. Like AEW to the fullest though. If it's MLW, that's great. If it's WWE, that's cool. But to majority of the fans, it probably would be WWE because that's what they grew up on. Now it ain't been the best and the greatest
Biggest
out of the
was
last.
though, you got the indie heart fans not
Yeah,
knocking on an independent wrestler.
yeah, and,
They feel like they have more knowledge of wrestling just because they've watched the lower products, and they feel like they are
mm,
more obligated to be wrestling fans than an average WWE fan, an average AEW fan, stuff like that. They feel like they've got more of initiated of a fan base scenario, like they've got a higher position to critique pro wrestling type scenario. And you know what I'm
yeah,
going with.
yeah,
But the way I see this stuff is, bro, because I have numerous people message me day in and day out, some that are on high profile promotions, and ask me my point of view every single week of what do you see in this product? What's different? Like, what can we put in our product to make it more showcase? What can we do that's different from this product and stuff like that? And I was like, hey, character driven, more storytelling. In my opinion, people might get mad at me. The second show is not AEW, in my opinion. I've been saying that from day one. I honestly think AEW is number 3, but it's a bigger production standpoint. And I feel like drawing wise right now, in my opinion, I like MLW. In my opinion, I like NWA. I like certain different ones that obviously are not the bigger ones, but it's like I feel like they do what wrestling should be showcased of. Characters, stuff like that. Like NWA. They don't do entrance songs. MLW, they are really coming up in the ranks, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know regarding the Peacock order, but I think what I've heard from some different things on that source, it's a very positive thing because, yes, it's going to be on a WWE type platform, so more people are going to watch this because it's wrestling. Everybody's going to assume it's WWE, but when they see, Enzo Amore and stuff like that, and they're going to be like, oh, that's where he's at, because a lot of people don't follow people outside of WWE and stuff like that. And that's something that helps, I think, showcase bigger promotions and wrestling and stuff like that. And I've seen it numerous times on a booking standpoint for independent shows. How do you draw fans to come to an independent show? You bring a former WWE guy in there, and guess what? You're going to sell out. You're going to sell out. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. And I wanted to have this topic regarding on the commission talks. There's a difference between money ratings than superstar 5-star ratings. So it's like, it's got to be a differentiated thing. And a lot of people just like different things. Like you think more what's more entertainment on a football standpoint. You love XFL better than what you see on the NFL because, like you just described on commission, you didn't understand what the point of the kickoff thing is because honestly, it is kind of pointless. It's just a kickoff. 9 times out of 10, it's just either going to be completely fall back and then we're just going to start at the 20-yard line, or eventually one or two of them is going to run it back and stuff, and it makes it so showcased because it doesn't happen all the time. And that's something that a lot of things don't realize is it definitely has to stand out. And that's something that your company needs to learn. What is your standout moment? What makes you different? And like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of how we don't do character wrestling, and it's just basically a Cirque de la Soul in a ring. I mean,
hey, I get. I definitely get you, man. Whatever floats you guys' boat, man. Whatever it is, MLW. I definitely got to catch up on that. And I love what they doing. It's just everybody got something different, and whatever wrestling it
I'm
is.
glad Ring of Honor
Um,
got the whole streaming thing, though. I am glad about that. I didn't think it was going to happen.
oh yeah, yeah, man. Wrestling right now is just is a great
Too
time
much.
to enjoy everything that's going on, especially just in wrestling in general. I kind of like forgot. It was something that you just said, and I just forgot about it. But it's gonna come to me. But in the meantime, we're gonna move on to our next topic. At the end of Monday Night Raw, a lot of people kind of like saw it coming though. But me personally, I thought the way things was just building up and how it's sort of forming now because the match at WrestleMania that everybody talked about, there was going to be the Usos taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And we still see Kevin Owens decline to accept any relationship with his buddy or former buddy Sami Zayn to come help him or whatnot. So he tried that, and he did come to save Kevin Owens at the end of his match that ended in a DQ with Solo Sokoa. But Sammy took on Jimmy, the bloodline, what Roman Reigns said of the bloodline, that we want to end this Sami Zayn problem tonight on Raw. And sort of they quite did, and they were hoping to get Jimmy back in the bloodline. Excuse me, Jay back in the bloodline. We seen Jay and the whole moment. I was like, okay, what is he gonna do? He face to face with his brother, and is he about to rip the shirt off like or what? And he go outside the ring, hug Jey Uso, and unbeknownst, a super kick are heard around the world. I guess that's the favorite move if you want to turn on your former buddy. Hit him with a super
Super
kick.
kick
So
party.
yeah,
But it
but
was only one.
man, I thought the moment was awesome, man. Just how they played it. But I actually, for a moment, I actually thought it was gonna go a different direction. Jay or not joining back with the bloodline for a minute. So yeah. Well, what was your thoughts at the end of Monday Night Raw with Jey Uso turning on Sami Zayn and sort of rejoining the bloodline? Because now, if I was Roman Reigns, even though he's back in, I still gotta wonder, why did you walk off at the Royal Rumble? Why did you come in and sort of interfere at the Elimination Chamber? Were you having second thoughts? What change your mind now? Like, I don't know.
I think. Oh, I don't want to be that guy, but I I was so shocked to see it. I didn't think it was going to happen so early, but how we've all been saying,
Hmm.
WrestleMania is literally like three. It was 4 to 3 weeks away. Like, what are they going to do to bring this in? I felt like, honestly, I thought they should have done Jay turned on them either at Mania or the night before Mania, like SmackDown. But
Mm.
the way that they did this, Jay touched Jimmy's chest and just holded him.
Mm.
And you're just looking at him going, I love you, but I'm not for this anymore. Now, in my opinion, it kind of should have told the story right there. Jimmy's wearing the Bloodline shirt, instantly a red Bloodline shirt. So in wrestling, we always say that's a turn of events type scenario. When you wear a different color, it should showcase it and make it more meaningful. If something is about to be a major turn into a story, and then
Mm.
obviously him wearing that red shirt. But where Jay literally hugged Sammy, you could mute your TV and you could still have goosebumps of when the crowd's reaction was with that.
Yeah.
And that part, it doesn't happen all the time, especially not in this era with wrestling. And for you to have that moment, and then they still timed it and waited so much more. I felt like Sammy should have went to go for another hug or something, and then Jimmy just clocks him.
Yeah.
But damn, that's all I can really say. Like, and then when he grabbed his face, saying, "This is family," I don't want to say the other part. We want to kind of give a paid moment for you on this for this episode. But where he said this is family stuff and grabbed him by his face, saying, "You thought I would choose you. You thought I would choose you," and you could just feel the emotion that, okay, now we know where we're going, and then how the fans just turned instantly, like that whole building just silent.
One thing that was I think that was beautiful how they did it is they could have went, even though it was okay how it ended.
Danny's expressions really told the story too.
Yeah, yes it did. Yes, it really did. And with the crowd reactions and everything. But without Cody Rhodes coming down, it was cool though. But I love how they went off air immediately after Cody came out. And it was just like, boom, like, oh my God. Commentary didn't say a thing. We run the copyright, we go off air, and it's leaving you with a cliffhanger, like, oh my goodness. But
people were sitting there Googling, trying to find what happened off the air of Raw, and nothing was shown. That's what's the best part about it. And I was like, they finally figured it out. This is something that we've been waiting for since Rock and Austin back in the day. When you saw Rocket, the best build-up that they did in the Attitude Era was where they do the face-off, and they would just start a basic, just tackle each other, start beating down, and all the wrestlers are sitting there trying to break them up constantly, and then it goes off air. Like when they did the Royal Rumbles and stuff, everybody starts climbing in back and forth in the ring, and they just cut it off. You're like,
yeah. Hey,
I gotta wait till the Rumble to see what happened. Like, what's going on?
Yo, I remember those right there, and them. To be honest with me, I used to hate those because I used to love it so much, and I be like, one thing I used to hate growing up when I was a fan, when the action in the ring was still going on while the show was going off. That irritated me. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
What I thought was so smart what they did. You remember with Sunday Night Heat? I used to love watching Sunday Night Heat, especially on the pay-per-view nights. Because I'm thinking, they might accidentally showcase the pay-per-view. And literally when they did their little, dark matches and shit, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, is this the match for the pay-per-view? I didn't see this build up on Raw or SmackDown or whatever. And then they're like teasing the preload videos of all the matches, talking about the main event, and then it cuts off, and I'm like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about, man.
I was living on WWE.com, AOL for 10 minutes and sitting there waiting for every result of that match.
As soon as Raw went off, I definitely was on Google trying to find some pictures or a post, but I found the video maybe 40 minutes or so afterwards. But the ending, it just haven't been an ending like that in a while, just to leave you just like, like OMG, and I think people are really
solidified Cody as your top babyface.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing also too with John Cena. The promo between John and Austin Theory, and Cena coming out there, kind of like passing the torch over to Cody Rhodes and stuff.
They went a little bit over time.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, that was a long promo though. But promo. Yeah, and I think this is coming up to be like John Cena's last, run of going up to WrestleMania, maybe so, and just he's on the cover of the video game, and he's taking on Theory at WrestleMania.
I might tear up on that match, bro, because it's still crazy to me, but like how like I say emotional thing regarding with Cody. That's something I feel about with Austin. Like, dude, I just sent you a video of him interviewing with Chris Van Vliet in 2018. He was sitting there doing when he was a champion of a promotion in Florida, in Tampa, Florida. There was an open challenge, and he kept tagging John Cena in it. He kept tagging John Cena, and his social media blew up. People were like, "Oh, you won't see him to come to this indie promotion, da 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 da." you know you're gonna lose it if he comes. He's like, I don't. He's like, is there something to really worry about? I get to face my idol. Not only that, I'm a future WWE champion in the near future, and not even 2018. He got signed by WWE in 2020.
Yeah.
First
Austin 3.
WrestleMania, he's in. The
Yeah.
first year he got signed, he was in his first WrestleMania. Took a
Yeah.
picture with John Cena, and I thought that was enough for me right there with him. But
Yeah.
then you see more teasing in. You see John Cena's interviews and stuff, and he's hitting about Theory every single time. I'm just like, bro, this is insane. This is like a dream. Like, I remember this guy when we first started out. This guy was sitting here telling us John Cena was his number one guy. John Cena is the reason why he got into wrestling. And then you see it 4 to 5 years later, this guy is now headlining a WrestleMania with John Cena. I
Ain't
can't
that
say nothing
something?
else about it. It's still hard for me to believe it. Like when it was rumored, and I was like, I could see it, but I don't believe it. Just
Yeah.
because I felt like Theory had to have somebody that he's going to be able to get him to that next ladder to get possibly for a title, for a heavyweight title or something. Because at that time, I'm sitting there thinking like, he did have Money in the Bank. There's got to be something regarding that title soon with him. But with this, I'm not mad about that promo that they both did. I'm very impressed with Theory because Cena gave him Roman Reigns type caliber promo level, and he still went back and forth with him on it. And that was something that I was happy about because Theory did way better than what Roman did when Cena got into his butt about that promo. So, and then when he talked about that bald spot, I was just like, and then
Yeah.
Cena said, "Hey, I can fix that, but we can't fix off the audience fake tune to your matches." And I was just like,
Yeah, that whole promo was awesome. I think John Cena, man, is just showing, especially when he came out there, how emotional he get.
he
10 years
cried, man.
ago,
I felt
yeah,
that.
10, yeah, me too. And I was just talking about, I was a big John Cena fan. 10 years ago, you had half of the audience booing him. The other half, majority of was kids and the young ladies and the women. They were cheering him. Now he come out to a big ovation, and the promo itself was just amazing, and you could just tell. I was thinking of you the whole time because you're a big Austin Theory fan and have worked with him, and just knowing how you feel about John Cena and getting into the ring with him, and not only getting into the ring with him, he's going to have his matchup at WrestleMania with John Cena. He was just so eager to get out there, but John Cena laid it on him and everything. So I thought it's that's going to be amazing. Everything on Monday Night Raw was definitely dope. We were just talking about Austin
Put
Theory.
Theory over.
Yeah, he really did because especially like the part where he talked about his name though, and he was like, "Yo, man, you got one of the dopest names, dog. Like, look, you got Stone Cold Steve Austin, and like, your name is it's sort of up there. You ain't Stone Cold though, but it's up there though. And we got some big matches that's going down at WrestleMania coming up. We just talked about Austin Theory and John Cena going one on one. I think Austin Theory is definitely going to take this. Another matchup that's been confirmed for WrestleMania, and we was chatting about this last
I
week,
called it.
and what was going to happen. I thought it was going to be Trish Stratus maybe taking on Bailey in a one-on-one matchup or something, but now we got Lita, Trish Stratus, and Becky taking on Damage Control.
Have they confirmed of what's match night 1 and night 2 shows, or are they still just going to do one night?
Well, I know a couple of matches they have announced for night one of WrestleMania.
Okay. Because I know that they said they were going to shorten the card.
Yeah, I know that another matchup they have. I don't think they made it official just yet, but I think they have been talking about it. Was the
Oh, it's
Seth
official.
Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania? This match is going to take place night one at WrestleMania. They talked about it. Logan Paul talked about it on his podcast this past week that
Mm-hmm.
this match is gonna be take place on night one at WrestleMania though. Since we on the WrestleMania topics though, there's some couple of other matches that's going down at WrestleMania.
It's
And but
perfect headline
wow,
for WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. And I think this is the best thing that they're doing with this. And a lot of people get mad about it, but in reality, WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, you want to get all your showcasing stars. What better way for the women's? Bailey really needed a big time match. Guess what? She's getting Trish Stratus and Lita and Becky Lynch in one match. I mean, think of what Dakota Kai and Io Shirai are thinking about that match. Like, they grew up watching these girls. These two girls made a milestone for women to actually get minutes in a match. And to see that these two women literally still can go. Trish doesn't age at all. My gosh. We're gonna try to keep this PG, but yeah, Trish Stratus, hi. But Dakota Kai, Io, I mean, this is something really cool for them.
yeah.
The Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, oh my goodness, like
I think that's going to be a
that's
show
the show
stiller.
stiller.
Yeah, it definitely is. People are sleeping on how Logan Paul has been showing out. He had a hell of a matchup at
Boy, I
Crown
got
Jewel,
killed on social media when I
SummerSlam.
said Logan Paul's matches have been more memorable than half of AEW's roster. And
Hey,
boy, did I get in trouble for that.
of course, I'm pretty sure a lot of AEW marks probably got on you though, but you ain't lying though, man. Logan Paul has been one of the guys who just, like you said on Monday Night Raw at the end of the promo, he just got it for this man, and he can do it. And I think this is going to be a big headliner matchup at WrestleMania. Another matchup, Bianca Belair taking on Asuka, which I
Shout out
feel
to
like
Brian.
this is.
I still, every time I look at Oscar, I gotta laugh. Bro, it was so funny. He goes, she's already beat Oscar. So now we just put blue on her and it's all of a sudden different.
Yeah, man. Like, I feel like Oscar's going to win this. If not, Bianca is going to, have something really coming up different probably the night after WrestleMania.
It's time for Bianca to lose.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar taking on Omos, and I'm hearing this was Brock Lesnar's, choice, and he denied or turned down. It's just rumors. I don't know. I don't work behind the scenes. The rumors that
he did.
Didn't want to work
He
with
did.
He didn't want to work with Bray Wyatt, and I think Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar sounds really interesting. I guess Brock said, "I don't want to be working with no damn clown with some toys." Bobby didn't even. He don't even like he wanted to work with him either though, but. Hey, it's happening. Oh man, so
They want that payday, bro. They got to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I got Rhea Ripley winning against Charlotte. Some early WrestleMania thoughts, and I'm sticking with my opinion. I know a lot of people ain't happy about it, and I said it. I've been one guy who's been saying it, man, but I don't know. Just the way things has been going on. Yes, Cody
You,
Rhodes
bro.
is the
When that story was
man.
going to go further in, you're going to really start getting effect with Cody.
No,
Cody has
listen,
been bringing that out, bro.
yes, he have been. Yes, he have.
And
But
most
Roman
people
Reigns,
that literally
but
get thrown down your throat, you're just like, I'm sick of you. I don't want to see anything of you. But now you are like invested in like, what else is he going to do? Like, what else is going to be into that? Like, honestly, I think Cody's going to bring Sami and KO together, in my opinion. I feel like that's going to be something that they're going to do. And that's probably going to be a cool showcase and to see a 6-man tag match between Cody, KO, and Sami versus Usos and Solo, because we know Roman is not going to wrestle. I don't want Roman and Cody touching until Mania. That is just my honest opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Really cool to see, but to see Cody finally getting involved against the bloodline, like that moment we saw him going to save Sami, that's where you knew it was like, yes, finally. He's getting in there with the bloodline. And you were there personally on SmackDown. That pop that Cody had. How was that pop that Cody got?
It was nice when he came out there, and once Roman Reigns said, Washington D.C. acknowledged me. Right after that, Cody came out there, so it was a huge pop, man. People are really, and even after SmackDown went off the air, and even after SmackDown went off the air, Cody Rhodes had a matchup with Finn Balor, and they announced that matchup between the commercial break throughout the show. They said it was a double main event. Charlotte is going to defend her title against Sonya Deville. That was like 5-6 minutes, and
Oh,
Cody
Sonya was
Rhodes
there.
and Sonya Deville was there. She took on Charlotte for the title, and that was in the dark match. So I'm pretty sure she's probably doing stuff with the company, but not on television. But far as Cody though, he had a nice, great reception when he won the match over Finn Balor at the end of it, which was dope, man. But like I said, yes. Cody is doing his damn thing. He's getting involved with the bloodline. He's the next guy. He's all that for real. But I just feel as though now, like I said, I just feel though he still may not win though. Why I say that is
Don't be that
because
guy.
Roman
Stop
Reigns,
it.
Roman
Stop
Reigns
it.
is the tribal
Dude,
chief, man.
Roman has
And
won 2 WrestleManias back to back. They're not going to do 3 in a row. He has to
yeah,
have a baby
hey,
face
I
to
don't know.
really
I don't know.
dethrone him. Cody has to dethrone him. If Cody doesn't
He do.
dethrone him,
He do.
what else is
Hey,
left?
you're right. You are totally right. You are right. But what if do you feel like it should be for both belts or just one belt? Because then if he defeat him for both belts, now they gotta figure out how to not necessarily figure out how to get one of the belts off of Cody. They just make him defend one of them. But I feel like uh when this goes on and it goes on and on, Cody really wants the WWE Championship. That's what I want. I mean, yeah, beating you for both titles, it comes with WWE Undisputed Universal, blah, 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 champion, whatever. But I mean, he really wants the WWE Championship. So what if Roman just says, you know what, all right, this match gonna go on, but it's for the WWE Championship. Now, easily, Cody's winning. But for both titles, I just don't know. Now I'm gonna be that guy up until that Friday night of the Hall of Fame going into WrestleMania, and if they change my mind, then I publicly say it on that live kickoff show for WrestleMania. But I don't know. I don't know.
It's so crazy how you could sit here and talk about this consistently, and it's so unpredictable. Like that's the best thing about this whole thing. We could talk about I am where you just possibly not win, and I'm like, there's no way, but you can't predict this no more because it's so back and forth. Like we don't know what's happening, and it's just insane. Like when
Hey,
have we had in wrestling where you could sit here and go, I just got to watch it? Like
yeah.
DraftKings, that one's going to be pretty damn awesome to see that vote. Who's going to win, Roman Reigns or Cody? It's not like it's a guaranteed who's going to win match. Like Cody is very favored right now. Believe it or not, Roman considered the underdog, and Roman needs to be the main household guy. So it's just back and forth because right now, if Cody wins, Cody has dethroned probably one of the craziest and strongest champion they've had in a long time, or Roman's going to be the first ever champ to hit over 1,000 days. It's just crazy to see which way it'll go.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy to see which way it goes. I'm excited to see which way it goes, though. Whether Roman Reigns reach 1,000 days or to see Cody Rhodes get that big moment and become the champion, though. One other matchup that we was kind of talking about before we went on air, that a rumored matchup that been going down. That LA Knight, yeah, like that's my man, may have a singles matchup with the WWE Hall of Famer, legendary Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I said Stone Cold Steve Austin. LA Knight
What?
currently rumored. I said Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's rumored to be Stone Cold's opponent for WrestleMania 31. I gotta ask you, man, what's your thoughts on this? But because we've seen Stone Cold come out of retirement of sort of some, taking on Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. But before I ask your opinion on this match, I just want to say, because I had this theory in my mind with Kevin Owens, and I'm loving the storyline that everything is going on with Kevin Owens and how he's going to be featured in night one's WrestleMania main event like he was last year. But Kevin Owens is he having this back and forth dilemma of shall I team up with Sammy or shall I don't? Yeah, that's his brother from another mother. That's his best friend. And eventually, I know Kevin Owens is going to take the matchup and they're going to team up with it. But I feel like after last year's WrestleMania, where Kevin Owens took on Stone Cold in the main event and how awesome that was, and to get Stone Cold come out of retirement, and we didn't usually when a superstar have a big moment at WrestleMania, they have a big moment at SummerSlam, and they have a big moment at Survivor Series and whatnot. But uh, you know, I want to see what's next for Kevin Owens, and hopefully, he have this hopefully he have a real big moment. If you don't accept the match, which I know he would be, I would be like, man, I want something bigger because I fought Stone Cold Steve Austin, and now I got to be going for a tag team title. Now, I get it, was all that, but the story I think is always more important. All right, I'm just rambling on though. Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back. For this year's again, we all seen him work out and get into shape, and we all had this speculation like Stone Cold, man, are you going to have another matchup at WrestleMania? He sort of declined it and said, "Nah, man, I'm just getting in shape." So, uh, how you feel about LA Knight? Yeah, possibly taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. All right, you guys, man, we lost Warren Marlowe. We're going to try to get him back in just a moment. I was trying to get his thoughts on the rumor matchup between Stone Cold Steve Austin and LA Knight possibly going down at WrestleMania. I think I got Warren Marlowe back here. Warren, can you hear me?
Yeah, my mic was completely like I couldn't hear nothing.
Okay. Before we get to the last topic or matchup, I was just trying to get your thoughts on the rumored matchup that possibly may go down at WrestleMania 39 between LA
I
Knight
mean,
and Stone Cold.
look at the man. This man was brought in to job out to make Bray Wyatt look like the most undestructible force, and he got more image than what Bray Wyatt was. Um, get in there with Taker. This is just
Mm.
another thing that he could put in his Hall of Fame wall. The yeah versus the what chant. I can already see
Hmm.
that now between these two. Yeah.
Hmm.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
and
For 5 minutes, you can
it,
constantly have that back and forth if the
when he
fans
came
get in with it.
out in DC, man, like I was so ready for him to come out, and the crowd was ready. Let me talk to you, yeah, and like you could tell that's catching on, and it's like the new what? It's the new what now, and you give the guy more TV time and let him go at
It
it.
gets
I promise
annoying when
you,
he does it every saying, but it works. It
yeah,
works.
yeah, it does,
And
man. If this,
I mean, he's got so many different personalities that I see with him. The way he's built, he's going to be a main eventer
yeah, hey,
easily.
look at
I
LA Knight.
honestly say he'll probably, if you want to, if Cody wins after the Roman Reigns is all out of the picture, you could have LA Knight probably be one of the opponents for him.
Hey, that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. I see really bright stuff for LA Knight, especially with they gave LA Knight Bray Wyatt just to give Bray Wyatt something to do and get back in it.
And
He had the big
the
moment at
whole
Raw.
spotlight changed.
Yeah, it had the whole big moment with the Undertaker at Raw 30, and possibly hearing about this. So They got real big for high hopes, man.
Poor LA
For my
Knight's
guy.
gonna be a baby face without even knowing it.
Yeah, he is, man. He is. On SmackDown, we going to try to find out who is going to be Gunther's WrestleMania opponent. LA Knight. We got Karrion Cross, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. All trying to go after Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. We possibly there was so many scenarios and rumors surrounding Gunther at WrestleMania. We possibly we heard that possibly we were going to get Gunther and Brock Lesnar, but we don't see that's going to be the thing. Gunther and Sheamus, Gunther and Drew, we don't know though. But it's a fatal four-way match, and I don't know, man. Are we going to get that third matchup or second matchup between Sheamus and Gunther, or are we going to get Drew McIntyre versus Gunther? Who do you think is going to take the W in this?
Um, I honestly think they're probably gonna go with Drew. Drew's basically been the second or the third top babyface that they've had for a long time. But Sheamus is not right that far behind him. LA Knight could probably shock a lot of people, but I don't see him facing Gunther instantly. Karrion Cross, I don't know what happened with him. This dude was a hell of a talked about guy instantly when he came off of NXT. He probably should just shave his head in. Maybe that's what it is. Kofi's going in there doing his thing. This match right here is just going to be a hard hitting match. LA Knight's going to get his, in and outs. Karrion Cross is probably going to have Scarlett help him back and forth, and Kofi's just going to be flying everywhere. But at the end of the results, it's going to probably be between Drew and Sheamus at the end, and Drew's going to pull it out.
Okay. I agree with you.
I want Sheamus to do it just so Sheamus can say he won the IC title.
You know what, man? Sheamus is one guy. Another guy who ever won the IC title also, we seen him on Monday Night Raw, was John Cena. And I'm kind of like a favorite for that. I know John don't really care, but Sheamus, I'm definitely rooting for him to win this. But at WrestleMania, I feel like I don't think Gunther is going to lose at a WrestleMania. So I would definitely give it to Drew. But knowing the type of situation that Drew and Sheamus in, sort of like they buddies, but they could fight each and every day. So I feel like if it's Drew, then Sheamus will put his title shot on the line against Drew will put his title shot on the line against Sheamus the prior week. And to see who wins, it may go a DQ or a no contest. So that means it's a triple threat match now. So I can possibly see that working out somewhere.
That's what I was thinking too. With 5 guys, I don't see it being a draw.
Yeah.
So maybe like how you remember how Orton and Rey Mysterio did. Orton won a match because he basically made Rey put his Royal Rumble Wrestling main event on the line. They could do something with that. Make this pretty good story with that scenario, but it's kind of hard to make a draw when you have 3 other guys.
No. Make that draw. No. You gonna have Drew wins. Drew wins. Like I agree with you. Drew wins the Fatal 5-Way. Next week on SmackDown, Drew and Sheamus still butting heads because Drew came out there last week on SmackDown first. Then Sheamus came out there and said, like, yo, what are you doing, man? And Drew was like, yo, man, you're not my mommy. I got to check with you. I'm growing as a dog. So I feel like it could continue the following week that where Drew says, hey, you want this match? I put it on the line and take on you. That goes a DQ, no contest, whatever like that. Now it turns into a triple threat match. Just because both guys kick shit out of both whatever and they won. Who knows? But some theory like that, though. But yeah,
I think Gunther and causes it to be a triple threat.
That would be awesome.
Because Gunther's been very famous for coming in matches.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would be great, man. That'd be awesome. That
Boy, it's a
definitely would
lot
be.
of chops, a lot of hard hits, a lot of kicks. Between those
Yeah,
three,
yeah, it's gonna be something, man. The way we leading up to
Icy Hot's
WrestleMania
going to
and
be sponsored in that match.
that's gonna be more than big three meaty men slapping each other. Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther
More
at
thigh slaps than you
WrestleMania.
can count.
Yo, man, for real. Yo, man. We didn't chat about some topics here this week on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Chatting about Jey Uso attacking Sami Zayn and the whole bloodline storyline that is just going to continue after week, and we got to wait to this coming Friday night SmackDown and Raw and everything else, man, to see how everything unfolds, man. And definitely the matches that's shaping up at WrestleMania is looking pretty good, man. I mean, I'm excited for WrestleMania. You are?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, man.
No.
It's the
Hey,
road to the mania.
hey, hey, I'm ready. I'm definitely ready though. But it's
It's
been a
crazy
great
how
one.
fast it feels like it's like a snap away.
Yeah, it's kind of like man, like Christmas in a way, man. You know where you was growing up and you got all them gifts, man. Christmas morning, all wrap all them gifts, and then it's like 11:50 on a Christmas night, and then you're like, well, gotta wait till next year for all it's all over again. But instead, with the last couple of years, obviously due to the pandemic, we've been getting two nights of WrestleMania, which is pretty decent because how some fans didn't like how it was a 7 hour show, 6 hour show. I'm gonna say one thing that I was just a huge fan. I remember when Raw was 2 hours. Everybody hated when Raw went 3 hours. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, man?
Gosh,
More
that
Raw,
blue
that
one. I go
man."
struggle.
Man, I was with it. I was like 3 hours is awesome, But man, when I watch it on time, like live, like straight up at 8 o'clock, that is the longest show ever, man. I cannot watch Raw like completely
They
like
used to make it a
eight.
special. Remember when it was a 3 hour episode Raw? You knew
Yeah,
it was a big,
yeah,
big
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, that was cool. Now I have to tune in to Raw like 8:50, 8:40 something, so that way by the main event I'm caught up. I can watch that last commercial break by the main event, so I can fast forward all the nonsense, all the commercials. But sitting there watching it for a whole entire 3 hours, man, is pretty long. It is definitely pretty long, man. But yo, dope show here. Talk Pro Wrestling. Got my guy Warren Marlowe of Commission Talks, man. Yo, man, tell everybody, man, with some new episodes dropping, man. You ain't got an episode this week. You're gonna have an episode next week where they can catch you, and you're gonna be hosting Commission Talks live next Wednesday. So talk to him, man. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying. But yeah, man. Like you said, we won't have episode today, sadly. I'm just now curing from losing my voice. If you saw Commission Talks, I was I was hurting. When I say I was hurt, I was not able to really talk. As you could tell, I remember people were commenting saying, "What's Warren stuffing in his mouth?" I was putting at least 4 to 5 minutes in my mouth just to able to speak or anything. So it was good to finally get 2 days to refresh, get myself right, and get on here and talk to my boy Dre. But yes, Buzzing with Marlowe is on every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week will be a new episode, I promise you. Also, we got Commission Talks that will be live Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for that one. That one's going to be interesting. If you want to watch last week's episode, check that one out. We brought our boy Blackheart back in, and we've always had the reference of me being the Skip Bayless and him being Shannon Sharp. So, hey, let's do it. So we did the undisputed version of Buzzing with Marlowe between me and him, and people have been eating that alive. They've been loving it. It was really cool to have that type of transition, stuff like that. It was creative. It was good to see Blackheart in his very positive mindset. Also, he even talks about why he's no longer with the commission and stuff like that. So, like me and you've always said, the show's going to go on regardless. It's not us being selfish. It's just that we grew this thing. We don't want it to end. We don't want it to end. That's been something that's been very amazing between you and me. The commission has built such, I consider a family between you and me, because like we said, we just celebrated 2 years. Like, who would have thought a group of guys just put a podcast together, and that's what we were known as, the Commission Boys. And it was really cool how that thing just grew instantly. And the one thing I love about what we've always brought is my episode. It shows, a little bit more, a more cooler version, a more down to earth version than what you see on Buzzing with Marlowe, because Buzzing with Marlowe, I'm just giving interviews out with my guests. Commission, you see a more loose version of me. Blackheart, you're just going to see Blackheart any type of genre you see him in any show. And you, my dog's just Mr. Coolio. My boy just sits there with his legs back, and he just watches me and Shiz back and forth for that bone left and right. But it's like, it's just so many different demographics that we can watch just on each and other show. And adding Eric in the mix, it's been pretty interesting, because Eric's more the legit independent wrestling fan, and I call him the wrestling thesaurus, because that cat knows a lot about wrestling. So shout out to him, shout out to Blackheart, shout out to you. But guys, y'all can catch all my episodes on the audio standpoint as well. We don't just do video. We're on all audio platforms except I might have to go and find the dude from Pain and give him a code, but we're on everything. I can't say nothing else, man. I'm in the top 10 for good pods right now. We're beating Chris Jericho's podcast. We're beating Renee Paquette's podcast. Like, it's so crazy to see the numbers that we've been putting on that. So definitely check me out on Good Pods. That's something that I'm on very well, or Spotify, which I'm pretty sure anyone that has a podcast has got Spotify. But and all the ramps go on. Check out the hats, buy the merch. Also, check out our sponsors that we got. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Delby and Ultimate X. Great gym wear. Delby is good energy. If you are not a big pre-workout fan, you don't like the shakes, the itchiness of what pre-workout usually gives you, Delby is only 100 milligrams of caffeine, and it's not like you get a caffeine crash from it. So check them out. All the links will be below. But Dre, all love, bro. Thank you.
Hey, anytime, man, for real. My brother from another mother.
Us daddies.
Bro, commission talk.
Dads.
Hey, I love it, man. Definitely shout out to Eric the Joker, the host of the Wrestling Asylum of Commission Talks, and my guy Blackheart, man. That definitely was a great episode, man.
And we gotta get
man, we've been yeah. Shout out to Yelly too, man. For real, definitely. It's been a while. Yeah, been a while since we all chatted up, man. But Commission Talks, we celebrated 2 years. We live this Wednesday, like Warren said, on Buzzing with Marlowe. Not Buzzing with Warren, but Buzzing with Marlowe, my guy Warren Marlowe. So it's gonna be awesome, man. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, man, live. In the 11:30 podcast, man. Here, Talk Pro Wrestling. We'll be back here. A new episode next week. A new episode of the 11:30 podcast show this Wednesday. And stay tuned to the 11:30 podcast social media pages for a new episode of Beyond 11:30, man. For real, it's been a great show. I love talking wrestling with you guys, but man, it's always that time where we just gotta go, man. For real. But before I head on out of here and go, don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 11:30 podcast on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram at the 11:30 podcast _
free 99, ladies and gentlemen. Free 99.
Exactly, free 99, man. For real. Don't pass by the video. Don't just like, oh, I know what that is. No, subscribe. Follow my man Warren Marlowe, and subscribe to Buzzing with Marlowe, man. For real, it's free 99, man. You can follow all the entertainers and everyone else. You can follow us, man. We deliver some great content, for real. And definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, man. Great show. But This one a great one, man. Warren Marlowe, my guy, appreciate you always, man, coming through here on the podcast. Until next time, man. Yo, Shman Dre, aka Dre on Wells, and my guy Warren Marlowe. He out, man.